Oh, great mill of heroes, please see to it that the chasm does not act up these few days. And may we be safe and sound as we descend into the mines this time. And may those comrades of ours who no longer come to mine also fare well in their respective paths. Protect us. Great mill, protect us. What is it? Can I help you? Well, I'm praying at this mill's memorial. I mean, it looks like a pile of unassuming rocks, but it's actually been here for 500 years now. The chasm is under the protection of the mills, so every time we have people descend into the mines, we will pray here for the heroic souls of those who have passed to protect us. They have long since turned into elements and become one with the mine, so when we pray for their protection, we're also showing our reverence to the chasm itself, you know? The ancients said that the earth has a spirit, and the elements have souls. Those who sacrificed their lives so that we might live watch over us in similar fashion, so I believe. 500 years ago? That's right, back then a dark calamity swallowed the chasm, and Rex Lapis commanded the Millith to stand guard over the ore veins. That was a terrible battle, led by a Yaksha. The Millith came forth to stem the tide. In the end, a group of them led the foe into the depths of the chasm, and thus quelled the unrest. It is said that this memorial was set up for them. Paimon didn't think that these ugly stones would have such history. Don't disrespect the fallen, little one. Sorry? Whatever the case, this is a pretty familiar story to anyone who grew up around the chasm as we did. There are many versions of the tale, too, which sprung up over time. If you were to talk to someone else, they might tell you a different story. Maybe this is the charm of history. Not that I'm particularly cultured in mind, but I'm just saying, you know. Ah yeah, speaking of which, there's always been a rumor going about. It says that these stones hide another secret that might lead a discerning person to treasure that the mill left behind. Treasure that they left behind? Could you give us some details? Let's just say that Paimon's interest has been piqued. It's just a rumor, but it's one that's got to do with the Millith member who created this memorial in the first place. Indeed, both the Millith and the miners of the chasm set memorials up back then. The battle ended, but many of their comrades now rest eternally in the depths of the chasm together with that nameless Yaksha. One of the soldiers fell from a great height while helping to evacuate the miners and beat back the enemy, injuring his spine, and becoming unable to move on his own power as a result. But later it is said that he was not daunted by his circumstances, instead becoming a self-taught and much famed doctor who would help those in the same situation as himself. It is said that this memorial was something he set up to remember his comrades by after he had obtained a vision. His story would gradually fade from history, being replaced with tales of the Millith's treasure and the Yaksha's inheritance. Those are just baseless tales. We miners generally prefer to keep our feet firmly planted, so I don't give much credence to these tales. Still? No, it's nothing. I just mean that I won't laugh if you do actually go looking for that treasure. I've given it some thought, and it occurred to me that while the tales of treasure might all be false, they exist as a way for generations of peoples to ensure that stories are passed down and not forgotten by later generations. Whatever the case, the one who offers up 6 items lost within the chasm before the stone will be awarded the gifts of the mill. That's how the story goes. And these 6 items are the Helm of Warding, which may defend one from rock falls. The Cup of Commons, made to memorialize comradeship. The Sky Feather, the symbol of lofty ideals. The Warrior Spear, used to fend off the foe. The Flower of Farsight, which grew upon the cliffs of the chasm. And the Sundial of Ages, used to remember the bygone past. Well, that wasn't confusing at all. No, sir. Sure this wasn't all made up by people later? I've got no clue. Maybe they were all made up. That would certainly explain why no one's found the legendary treasure this whole time. Oh yeah, speaking of which, there was another memorial that I mentioned, yes. Everyone's just busy themselves with their own separate things after the chasm was closed. No one's kept that place clean, I'll bet. Could you help me go over there and just tidy the place up? Just a little will do. Well, nice. During the Battle of the Chasm, I lost the use of my four limbs and thus was forced to dictate these words for someone else to record and carve here. I survived that fierce battle, but each night where I thought of our fallen comrades was a sleepless one. And with my body in this state, oh how I detested the fact that I was not privileged to join them. I attempted to join them only to have Rex Lapis hear of it and reprimand me, waking me from my stupor. Alas, for I can no longer make use of his gift of mill of armor and equipment. They shall only accumulate dust if left in my keeping, and so I leave them here for someone fated to come and claim them. Everyone, though we can no longer do so in this life, let us be comrades again in the next. Let us then share the wine of sworn brotherhood once more, defend Leeway from its foes.
Oh, what a cute treasure coffin!
Oh wow, you really found it. So this is the treasure of the Mill then. Now I've got no clue what's in there, but I'm sure that the soldier who left that treasure behind would be pleased to know that it was found. It's been 500 years since that disaster, and I think about how this place was once the site of such an intense battle, one in which countless forebears of ours sacrificed themselves. I can't help but wonder, did any of those people who went into battle alongside the Lord of Geo think that they would be remembered by people across the centuries? Did they ever doubt or falter in their duties? And as for those who never gained a vision, how did they remain loyal to a god who never showed them favor, even until death? Yes, you're right. Those with visions, those without. We are all working towards a future with limitless potential. I mean, that's what they call motivation, am I right? We're the same. We're not here for the good times in the past or for some self-realization in the present, but we do this to support one another in leaving something of ourselves behind in the times we live in. Maybe someday in the far future, the chasm will also become our memorial. The pits and the valleys, the sweat of generations of miners, they all bear witness to the tough road we have chosen. Just like this memorial, this place will be here 100, even 1,000 years from now, as a testament to the fact that the sacrifices made here were not in vain. Well, I'm not going to live to see that happen, obviously, but if someone does come here someday to toast us poor miners long after we're gone, that would be more than enough.